Hi everyone, Ed here from Shades of Vengeance, and today I'm here to talk to you about my latest card game, The Internship. Now, it's a really simple to play card game, and I wanted to give you a quick demo video about how it works. The entire rules are right here. That is that, and that. It's just a double-sided 2-page. It's very, very easy, and the vast majority of the instructions are actually on the cards. It consists of, I'm just going to move that out the way. There is a deck of 55 cards, and it consists of 5 types of cards. There are standard tasks. These don't really do anything in particular, positive or negative. They're just a card to play. There are attacks. Now, these attack your opponent and try to make them lose. There are penalties, which, you might try to avoid playing, but sometimes you have absolutely no choice. So penalties do bad things to you. There are benefits. Benefits do good things to you. They're the opposite of penalties. And finally, there are blockers. And what blockers do is they stop things from happening. They might end the turn immediately, or they might stop penalties from activating this turn, or various other bits and pieces. So where we start is there is a deck of 55 cards, and you just have to shuffle it to begin with. Once you're done shuffling, you go ahead and deal out 5 cards to each player. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play both of these hands face up and right next to each other, because otherwise it's a little bit hard to see what's going on. So the deck is right here, and that is also quite important. So I'm just going to make sure I get it on the edge there. And then we've got 5 cards for my opponent. Call it me too, shall we? Quite a lot of standard task cards in this hand. There you go. So, interestingly, you can ignore all penalties and attacks this turn, as long as they're resolved after this benefit card. They normally would be. And you can ignore all penalties and attacks, but this one activates before all other blocker cards. My hand, I've also got a bank holiday. I've got access control down. I've got a tube strike. I've got a gossip. Now, gossip's an attack, so I can hurt my opponent. And I've got a coffee run. The coffee run means that I can't be forced to show my hand. And there are some cards that mean you instantly lose if you're forced to show them. So it's very simple. Each player places 1 card face down. And in this case, there are 2 of us. So my opponent's going to begin with a first line support exercise for them. I'm just going to put it there. And I'm going to begin with, let's see, I think that maybe my opponent might have something bad that they don't want to show me. Now, you're allowed to play more than 1 card if you want to, but neither of us have a reason to at the moment. So we each play 1 card, and then if we want to play a second, we each play a second card. But for now, we're good. So my gossip card and his first line support card activate. So they activate in order. First line support does absolutely nothing and activates last. Gossip forces another player to show their hand to all other players. So I force him to show me his hand. I find absolutely nothing useful out, unfortunately, and both cards are then discarded. Each player then draws a card unless there's an effect that means it's not allowed. So this time we've both done a standard task. We've both drawn a standard task. So we might both choose to play a standard task, for example, and discard it, and then draw another card. So another standard task and donuts for me. What happens next is, let's say I get a bit paranoid. I'm a bit worried that my opponent's going to attack me. So I decide, I'm going to play donuts. I ignore all penalties and attacks this turn. Now, because my poker face is awful, my opponent also believes that he may be under attack. So he decides to play the blocker card that means that they're all blocked. The bank holiday means that penalties and attacks won't happen this turn. So we turn over. And it does say on the rules, I'm just going to bring it up here. Here you go. Benefits, blockers, then attacks, then penalties. So I have a benefit that resolves first. I ignore all penalties and attacks. The bank holiday means that all penalties and attacks this turn are ignored as long as they're resolved after this card. Now, the reason that it says this is when you have multiple cards, they activate in order. And I'll try and demonstrate that in a moment. Here we go, that'll do. Here we are. So, I've drawn a project manager, which means everyone must play at least 2 cards this turn, if I make them. And crumble under pressure means any player with 5 or more cards when it activates loses. So what my opponent's going to do initially is he's going to play minute taking, which is another standard task. But I'm here thinking, okay, I'm going to play my project manager. And then I'm going to play my second card. And what I'm going to use is, I think I'm going to use the coffee run. So I can't be forced to show my hand. So we each turn over our first card first. However, if his card had forced me to show my hand, I would actually have to show my hand because this card has not yet been activated. This coffee run, that means I don't have to. So that's actually a disadvantage. But we both have to play 2 cards now. So he's now realised he has to play a second card, and he plays photocopying. I play my second card, which is coffee run, and unfortunately, it didn't help me, and I pretty much just threw away. That's kind of the essence of the game. I've shown you most of what there is to show. There are the penalties to show. That's 2 of the same. Okay, there we go. So, this is the point at which it matters whether you show your hand or not. Because if you are open to new opportunities on Link Up, and if you are forced to play this card because it's your last card or because you play it by mistake, or it has to be shown while it's in your hand, you instantly lose this game because you were looking for new opportunities and the company can't trust you anymore. In the same way, you're an intern. If you contact the union rep, that is equally unforgivable in the eyes of the company. There are some more mild there are some more mild hangovers. There are some more mild cards that are negative, such as the hangover, which means I can't draw this turn. So if I was to play this and he was to play the photocopying, what it would mean is he gets to draw a card, but I do not. It is genuinely as simple as that. The game is not hard to play, but it's amazing fun. The way you win the game is very simple. You're the last person with any cards left. So, if I'm down to my last card, he's down to 3, I then have to play my card, which means I lose twice, because I lose instantly because I was open to new opportunities, and I also lose because I have to play my last card. That is nothing in your hand after effects. There are cards, there is a card called I Went to Oxbridge, which means you draw a bonus card at the end of this turn. You would still lose if you played that card as your last card, because you resolve, but you draw at the end of this turn. And the assessment of whether you've won or lost happens when your hand reaches 0 and all of the effects are finished. So a project manager, for example, that I showed you earlier, that forces you to play 2 cards, may actually mean that you are no longer able to continue. If your opponent plays it when you only have 2 cards left, you could instantly lose. So that was just a very quick briefing on the internship. There are 55 cards. There are the rules and the box. It's a wonderful, fun, quick play game. I will tell you that my job, the people at my job, absolutely love this game. It's really good fun and it's a good laugh. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you'll consider joining us in bringing the internship to life.